Oh my goodness. Excuse me very much. Let's see. Today is show day. All right. Do we have audio? Check. Yep, we have audio. Let's directionalize that. Bring it in. Oh, almost to right there. There we go. That's good stuff. And then if you hear a teeny little echo in the background, it's me. It's I've got a vMix call set up here with myself, and I'm going to use this as a confidence monitor in the studio. Just quick and dirty, had 30 seconds to figure out something. So here it was. Yeah. So the show is going to be interesting for sure. Definitely interesting. Congratulations to Dr. Tom Eagle. He got his M16, his M4250 working. I got the email, Tom. That's great news. That's why I don't use a managed switch. What you went through, I'm not smart enough to use a managed switch, or else I'm too lazy to take the time to learn how to use it. Today we are going to revisit a little bit of what we talked about last week, but I've put all the pieces together. So I've got a laptop that's set up with a with dual. Well, I guess I don't want to steal my own thunder, do I? Okay, well, stick around. Don't go anywhere. Because yeah, okay, so we got 10 minutes and 38 seconds left before we've got the show. I guess we could get started early, but I don't really want to do that because all the people that show up late, they'll be even later. So yeah, there you go. Congratulations to Bird Dog on winning Best of Show for their new X120 camera. Those will be available in June. Bird Dog time, which means who knows. But yeah, they got to get into the distributors, and then the distributors have to send them out to the resellers, and the resellers have to play with them, and then you get yours. So it's kind of like, your parents playing with all your toys on Christmas Eve. That's how it's working out here. Oh, did I just delete myself? No. Okay. Boy, I hate when I do that. So yeah, let's see. That's good. Let's turn that off. That stays on. That stays on. That may as well stay on, I guess. Well, did we get a notice? The video in your post is being processed. Oh, great. So I uploaded a quick video to YouTube, to Facebook, to the Streaming Idiots group, announcing today's show. And it still is being processed. Maybe it'll be done by the end of the show. Who knows? Who knows? It'll be interesting. It will be interesting. So yeah, I don't want to talk about the show yet. Don't want to talk about the show yet. I've been contemplating, this is a different subject, contemplating setting up a true mobile studio for me and a guest, or for me just to do this show, and trying to think of what's the absolute least that I could do to get something like this working. So yeah, there's that. Oh, hold on a second. Let's check a little setting here. Checking settings, performance. The word on the street is, if you've got a NVIDIA graphics card and you have got resizable bar enabled, in vMix, you don't want to enable high input performance mode in the performance section of the settings menus. So I don't have high input performance mode set on mine, even though I've got an RTX 3080 Ti, which is not the biggest, baddest, but it's big enough and bad enough for me, for the moment anyway. But my GPU memory is showing 100%. Part of that is probably due to the fact that we're still doing a long-term trial of 4K 60. So we're using the PTZ Optics Move 4K camera. It's the 12X I've got here in the studio. Thanks to Gunner. Welcome, sir. Thanks to Paul and Tess and the outfit at PTZ Optics for sending that over. It's been fun to work with. Definitely fun to work with. Learned some things. Learned a lot of things about it. So I'm kind of happy to see that. The long-term trial is basically just to see what do you bump your head up against when you're set to do 4K 60. One of the things that I bump my head up against right away is bandwidth. Here in the studio, I've got what do I have? 20 megs up. And 4K 60 in a studio environment, a talking head is probably okay with maybe 14 up. But 14 up violates the 50% rule. Remember the 50% rule? You shouldn't use any more than 50% of your available tested bandwidth. Don't forget to test. Test, 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 as somebody famous always says. The 50% rule is intended to give you plenty of overhead in case something happens. Back in the bad old days, when I had cable internet from Mediacom, I had the first gigabit that they offered, and yeah, it was queasy. I guess that's the best way to put it. It was queasy at best. Some days it worked really well. Some days it didn't work at all. Some days it worked kind of well and then really well and then not well. And then it was all over the map. And the 50% rule saved my bacon probably more than I knew on that one because the bandwidth was so irregular. If you're in a situation where you're on Wi-Fi or on a cellular network, you may experience that same kind of dips and peaks and valleys. So you want to use that 50% rule. Here in the studio, I'm violating the 50% rule. I'm not doing the 60% rule. I'm doing this. What rule am I doing? I guess I'm doing the 30% rule. Well, I'm doing the 70% rule. I'm using 70% of my available tested bandwidth. That is, I only have 30% left for overhead and foibles. So yeah, 30% is not much of a buffer. So that's I can get away with it in a studio environment, I think, as long as everything else goes fine. For example, last week we were adding replay, and it was three camera replay of videos that were routed to an output and then back in to replay as an output, and that pretty well brought my system to its knees. I want to try it again. In fact, we're going to try it again today on a different system. Oh, you know what? We need to set up remote desktop capture. Sit tight. Don't go anywhere. I'm going over to the studio. Okay, so let's see what we see. So let's add an input. It's an NDI input. It is coming from the other PC. So it looks like this. So that is the input from the other PC. And then let's just drag that up to camera so we know where it is. And then I've got this shot that you just saw. And we'll have to see which of those is a better shot. Let's see. Let's set this one up on our shortcuts real quick. Find number 2 is 31, is full screen. Okay, we're going to change that to a cut to what is that input that we just added? That one right there. Okay. Good. Got that. And now let's, can we import some shortcuts or triggers? Let's go to triggers. We'll go to, that's not it. Let's go to the other one, say triggers. Triggers. Oh, help me out here, guys. When I want to share my triggers with somebody else, how can I do that? I thought there was a way to do that. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Here it is. Here it is. That. Create snapshots, move to create input this position. No, what about that one? No. Well, I've outsmarted myself once again. Hello, Mike. I'll answer your question in just a second. Well. I have definitely outsmarted myself. Oh, hold on a second. Oh, here we go. Right down at the bottom, it's copy from. So we'll go copy from. Source is going to be number 95. Using a lot of, and we want to copy the triggers. Yeah. Okay. And there they are. Okay. All right. This is good. So we've now got 2 camera shots. So we've got this shot. Yeah. So okay. All right. Good. Tom, congratulations. I have not used anything IP6, so that's interesting. I want to hear more about it, but not right at the moment. Mike, the CPU, what is the CPU? We'll get over there and we'll talk about it. I'll have to discover it. I think the GPU is a 3060 and the RAM is 16 and 2 SSDs, each one a gig. The second one is a really, really fast SSD, and I'm going to use that for replay storage. The laptop is an MSI Raider, but it's a gaming laptop, so it's got a Thunderbolt port on it, which is the kind of the key to getting the 4 cameras in. I guess we could have done them over NDI, but sometimes NDI is not the easiest setup when you're in the field. All right, so let's do the intro and let's get the show on the road. You ready? Sit tight. Eric's not here yet, but we're going to start anyway. Gee, Mani, welcome. So glad you're here today in the studio with me. Voice is a little gravelly. Weird setup today. Let me tell you a little bit about the setup, and then we're going to actually do some stuff. So we've got the regular setup today. We've got the PTZ Optics Move 4K 12x camera as the studio camera. We're doing a 4K 60 kind of experimental stream. We're going to YouTube 4K 60 because YouTube's going to re-encode it to all our other bandwidths or resolutions that fit your screen. We're using our Audio-Technica AT897 condenser mic. Love it. It's a nice little shotgun. We're using the Behringer UMC 404 HD audio interface, coming in USB to the PC with two mics, two of the AT897s, one here at the desk, one over there in the studio, with some triggers to switch back and forth between them if they work right. Over in the studio, we're going to be using a variety of cameras. We've got some bird dogs. We've got some PTZ Optics cameras. Some of them will actually be in our what do you call it? In our production over there, that production, the replay production. And then I've got one kind of looking over my shoulder so that you can see the different gear that we're working with. Over there, we've got an MSI Raider. I think it's a Raider 76 laptop. I'll have to check the CPU. I think it's got a 3060 graphics card in it, 16 gigs of RAM, 2 SSDs, and that's why I picked the Raider laptop or this particular model, because you could add a second SSD. The first SSD is, I don't even know the brand. It's a terabyte, and I've got the OS and all the software on that one. And then the second SSD is a super fast, I think it's called Sabrent M.2 drive, and it's also a gig, and I'll be using that for the replay storage. And I want to do something just really, really fast so that if there was any benefit to that, we would get the benefit to that. Also over there, I've got it's connected by Thunderbolt, a 4-port HDMI capture box. And so I'm getting four, well, I wanted to get 4 HDMI signals in. I was only able to get 2 by showtime. So we'll have to pretend like the other 2 exist. And then I've also got the X-Keys XKE14 as our replay controller, which I don't think I've finished setting up. So we'll do that when we get over to the studio portion in just a second. I'm going to take with me my X-Keys XK80 because it's got all the show buttons on it, and I've got a long enough cord so I can get over to that studio table. And then I've also set up a vMix call with myself. And this is going to be because I ran out of time. And I was like, okay, I've got 30 seconds. How can I get a confidence monitor over there so that I know that I'm on the right screen with you when I'm thinking that I'm showing things? Because I've got these triggers set up, and the triggers turn off and on the different mics. So when I go to either the over the shoulder shot over there or to the screen capture shot over there, it turns off this mic and turns on that mic. And then when I come back here to anything else besides those, it turns off that mic and turns on this mic. So hopefully I've got it right. We'll see. Let's see if it's wrong, wave your hand real high and shout real loud, and maybe I can see you and hear you. Well, I could set up a desktop capture. No, I don't want to. And then the last thing, I was setting up a second shot over there, and I wanted to transfer the triggers to it. So I used the copy from feature inside the settings for the input, the new input of there, which was my screen capture shot, and copied the triggers from the other one. So if it's wrong, it's wrong. It's really wrong. So there we go. Yeah. Okay. So other folks joining us. Hiken, welcome. Tim Trott, welcome. Glad to have you back. We missed you while you were gone. So yeah, I guess you can't see because we were supposed to be there. Yeah. No, actually, that's the pre-show because I'm not in pre-show anymore. I'm in show. So what do you do when you're an idiot? You just do the best you can. By the way, I think that QR code will take you to our website and show off the XKE 14, the new X Keys device from X Keys. Yeah, X Keys device from X Keys. All right, so let's switch over to the other studio. So I'm going to take my studio monitor with me. I'm going to take my X Keys XK80 with me and its long cord, and I'm going to take my Lemonade with me, which may be one of the reasons why my voice is so gravelly. I don't know. All right, so we don't want to hang up that call. We don't want to actually trigger something by putting that there. So we're going to do it this way. Let's go ahead and go over to the studio. Okay, is that better? Yeah. Okay, that's better. Sorry about that. So the idea was that I would have this mic right up here. Well, it's out of the shot, and I would trigger back and forth based on the camera angle. But there is no sound, and you say, well, why is there no sound? I did my triggers properly. I did. I know I did, but I had turned the gain all the way down on this channel. So my bad. All right, so let's go back where we were. We'll start again. Very quickly to recap, we went into settings, we went to system, we went to about and found out that we have a i7 processor, 11th generation. It's an 11800H at 2.3 gigahertz, 16 gigs of RAM, 2 SSDs, both of them terabytes. The second one I added that is supposed to be super fast. We look in here in the performance on the CPU, and we see that it's running at almost 4 gigahertz, and it's using 20%. vMix says it's using 10%, so we'll let Martin and Bill Gates kind of fight that one out between the two of them. Are we on Wi-Fi? Yeah, we're on Wi-Fi, but we're not doing anything, so that shouldn't be an issue. We've got 2 GPUs going. The second one is our 3060, and let's make sure that's enabled in vMix. So we'll go to settings, performance, and the 3060 is there on high input performance mode. I don't think we've got resizable bar enabled on this. I'll go back and check later. So yeah, we're looking pretty good. We're looking pretty good. All right, so here's our replay, and we've got 2 cameras set up for replay. And then we're going to go into the settings. We'll go into the replay screen. There it is right there. And let's just pop it out for a second. Turn on the monitors, and we'll go full screen with this for the moment. So if you haven't seen vMix before, in replay in the top right are going to be your monitors up to 8, and then the A and B screens, and then this is where all the events will be, and then we can control the events down here. But we're going to start out with the play button right there. So now we're recording, and we're recording camera 1 and camera 2. So we can switch to the other camera down here. Oh, I guess that's going to be camera 3, isn't it? That's going to be tricky. Okay, well, we'll just have to work it out. We're big boys. We can figure it out. And then we've got the X keys over here, and let me go get my cheat sheet on that. I'm going to run over there, get the cheat sheet, and run back, so stay tuned. Just want to make sure you can hear me. Just want to make sure you can hear me. If you can't hear me, raise your hand. Well, let's turn it up here and see if we can hear. Can you hear? Yeah. There's an echo. Isn't that interesting? On a vMix call, you can't turn the audio all the way down. So anyway, whoa, it turned up. Turn it back down. There we go. Now it's good. So we can use it as a confidence monitor. Should have put an audio meter in it. All right, so here's my cheat sheet on the way the X keys is set up. And the X keys is set up with this being the record button. I should have marked all these 5, 10, and 15 second. Go back in times. The play button is here. The in button is here. The out button is here. And then cameras 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think I'll probably, this is TJ's configuration. He did a great job with this. I might change it around, but that's the beauty of the X keys, is you can change it to be what you want to be. So very quickly, we can set we're already recording, so we can set a 5-minute excuse me, a 5-second replay, and then we can play it. So boom, we're going to play our replay. We'll kind of make this screen go down a little bit there. In fact, let's go ahead and park it back down there, and then we can pull it out most of the way to the side. We lose the ability to see the monitors. And let's give it a little bit more room there. Yep, so we can see a couple of events there. So basically we're just gonna, let's do a 10-second event and we'll play it, and then we can switch cameras in the event. Oh, we can't go to camera 2, can we? Because camera 2 doesn't exist. So we're back to camera 1, back to camera 3, and then back to live video. This, of course, is going to be live. This is our replay A, and we're only going to use replay A right now. We could use A and B, but my guess would be we're going to be lucky just to get 2 camera switches. So let's do a 15-second. So that's going to be this button right here. We'll get a new clip. The new clip appeared down there, and we're going to play it, and it's going to start, and we'll switch over to camera 1. We'll go back to camera 3. We're going to slow it down a little bit and back to camera 1. Probably would be helpful if I did something interesting in these clips. Yeah, we'll go back to full speed, and we'll switch back to camera 3, and then we're back to live action. So live action, if I'm actually doing something, it makes more sense. Now the total CPU when we do this, let's go ahead and record another clip, and then we'll play it back and we can watch the CPU as we do that. So we got a 15-second clip right here, and we're going to play it, and we're going to switch back and forth between cameras. CPU and vMix, or excuse me, the total CPU according to vMix is 20 to 25%. Now, I'm not recording and I'm not streaming. And so that's going to take some horsepower. So let's set up a quick record so that we can just record this, and we'll go ahead and record it to the same drive that we are recording the vMix the replay to. So we'll go to the D drive, and we'll just do it right there. There we go. And we're at 1920 by 1080, 5994p. So that's a good high definition production at a high frame rate, because it's going to be video that we want to slow down. So if we even slowed it down to 50%, that's still going to be 30 frames a second. All right, so we've got the recording set up. We'll go ahead and turn the recorder on, and our CPU hit is hardly anything. So let's go ahead and get another 15-second replay made. Let's go ahead and play it. We'll go ahead and shift cameras back and forth between camera 1 and camera 3 and watch our CPU. CPU hasn't broken 30 yet. Pretty impressed right here on this. Now again, this machine is only NVIDIA, you can't see the little sticker, but it says NVIDIA GeForce RTX. It's a 3060. I don't think it was a TI. I think it was just a 3060. Let's look up 36 system about. Does it tell us that here? No, it doesn't. Let's go into device manager. Maybe we can see real quickly there. And you know, the one thing I didn't do today, it's a 3060 laptop GPU. It shows the Intel graphics too, and so I haven't gone into the NVIDIA control panel to kind of eliminate the Intel part, but I'll do that at some point. So I guess my performance might actually get better if I were to do some prep. I'm also using a crazy, let's stop this recording for just a second. I'm using a crazy frame rate. I'm at 1200p. Let's go ahead and change that. 1920 by 1200. Don't know why I got that. Probably just because it was close, and that's all I did. So we're going to restart here, and that's going to cause our screen capture to go crazy. Let's see. Let's flip over to the screen capture for just a second. And is that not working? Doesn't look like it worked, does it? Let's go back to the other one. We've got desktop capture is number 5. Did our, yeah, we're on number 6. So we deleted that one and vMix didn't pick up on it. So let's go back there. We'll turn that back on and see if that'll show you now. Yeah, there we go. All right, so now you've got me. So let's go through that again. Turning the replay on. I'm gonna hit the 15-second button. Boom, we have a new clip. Oh, I need to turn the replay back on. So let's turn it on right there. And let's do something for 15 seconds so it looks like that we are just really, active. Not that you want replays in the Streaming Idiot Show, but yeah. Okay, so now we'll hit the 15-second button. And there's a clip, and we'll play that clip, and we're going to switch back and forth in our camera views. There we go. And we can slow it way down and switch it, and then speed it way back up. Okay, there we go. We're good. Now let's turn the recorder on. So now we're going to be recording and doing replay. And we've got, and again, we're recording the program output, and we're recording 2 cameras. And we're doing all 3 of those recordings to the D drive, which is that high-speed SSD, the M.2 SSD. And so right now we're cruising at 21%. Let's see what Bill Gates thinks we're cruising at. So let's go to Task Manager. We're going to go to the Performance tab. We're going to go to the CPU tab. And we're running at 4 gigahertz on a 2.3 gigahertz machine at 37%, according to Bill Gates. Martin Sinclair says 22%. We'll keep that guy around for a second. Let's look at GPU here. The GeForce says we're using 26% of the 3D, 21% of the video encode, no video decode, no copy, and 6 gigabytes of the, well, 6 gigabytes is probably our total, but it doesn't look like we're using much. Let's go to Resource Monitor for a second. Look at CPU. And we can see all the different CPUs. CPU 3 is hardly using anything. So we've got some headroom here. We've got 15 CPUs, 16 CPUs. Maybe this is a bigger, badder processor than I thought. We'll have to look at the specs on that. Let's see, memory. No, we don't care about memory. Disks, we can see our disks, but they're being regularly used. That's not bad. The network, we don't care about network for this. So let's go back here because we can see the GPU and CPU here. And CPU is floating around at 40% at 4 gigahertz. And again, remember when we go into settings, system, and about, this is a 2.3 gigahertz machine. So it's staying in turbo mode most of the time right now. Running vMix replay with 2 cameras and recording 1080p 60. So we'll keep in mind that figure right there. Let's go ahead and do let's do something really interesting, little calisthenics there. You can see I've got some projects working on in the background. Actually, this is stuff to be recycled. That's a system that we've got back on the workbench. And then just out of the view over here, we have another system that is about to go into the case. So there we go. There's 15 seconds. Let's play. Let's slow down. Let's shift the camera view. And there we go. We can send it all the way down to there. You know, it's funny how I look fatter on the camera than I do in real life. But they say that the camera adds a few pounds, or quite a few pounds as the case may be. All right. Let's go back to our other camera view for a second. There we go. That's the other camera view. So here's this is an MSI GE76 Raider. And it's got all the good stuff. It's got Thunderbolt 4, and then coming out of the back is a Thunderbolt cable to this little device over here. These little devices we have in our store. It is, why did our screen go blank here? It is in the store. Come on, come back in. There you go. There we go. And it's 4 ports HDMI, Thunderbolt and power. And I don't remember what they're priced at in the store, but they're really, really cool. And it's a great solution because it's small. That's the big benefit, I think, is it's small, it's easy to put in a backpack. All of this stuff will go in the backpack. The only thing is the T-bar needs to be collapsible. So if somehow the T-bar could rest in a little built-in dock there, or could somehow have an extendable handle with some ball bearings in it that popped into place, kind of like you know, those freestanding TV mounts that have different levels. There we go. There we go. All right. So the other thing that we can do here with this controller is we can mark an endpoint, and then we can do whatever we're going to do, let the world happen, and then mark an out point. And when we do that, we've created a clip that is, in this case, 7.97 seconds long. We can play it. We can switch cameras in it. We can slow it down. We can speed it up. And it's exactly the clip we want. So we've got the ability with this controller to do a 5, 10, 15-second clips just like that, going back in time. Or we can start at right now, do a mark in, and go and stay in the instant until the time that we want to end that clip with a mark out. Or what a lot of guys will do is they'll just keep hitting the mark in until they have something that they really want. So if it's football, at the beginning of every play, they might do a mark in, for example. And then if it's a great play, they'll wait until everything is summed up and then do the mark out and go back and play the clip. But if it's no good, or there's a penalty, or somebody jumps off sides or something stupid like that, and there's no reason to go back and look at it, they can just do another mark in at the beginning of the next clip, so that they've got the ability to do that. Now, obviously, you don't need to have this kind of controller to do this kind of setup. Let's switch back to this view for a second. As you can see, you've got everything you need right here in the vMix interface. And if you have a second monitor, you can pop this guy out and drag him to a separate monitor and let him go full screen. So now that you've got the ability to see all of your assets in terms of clips over here, and all your monitors, we've got camera 1 and camera 3. Cameras 2 and 4 must be on a lunch break. They're union. Okay, so there we go. So we can take our last clip. We can play events right here. We can switch cameras back and forth right here. So we're going back and forth in our cameras. And somewhere over here is the ability to change the speed. I guess we need a little bit more real estate room here. Let's see if we can drag it, get some more real estate. Yeah, there we go. So we've got the ability to change speeds there as well. And then things that would not be on this controller, like exporting clips, and any kind of assignment of any of these clips to any of our bins up here. Yeah, it's going to be pretty quick and dirty. But you could still do it with the mouse. So if you were doing a 4-quarter football game, and at the break in between quarters, if you're going to show some ads, you can go in here and begin to arrange your clips of the first quarter into a highlight reel, as it were, and do the same thing at the second quarter going into halftime. So yeah, lots of fun stuff to do. So that's it. We're going to step back over to the desk and take our X keys with us and take questions. So yeah, let's do that. So we're going to take our, go back to this camera for a second. There we go. So we're going to take our cheat sheet, our portable confidence monitor, and our lemonade, and our X keys. And we're going to go back to the other side. And somebody's going to tell me that they couldn't hear me that whole time, but that's okay. All right. So let's see. We're going to drop this this vMix call. We can find it right there. Disconnect. There we go. And we're going to adjust our camera here because we didn't do that in the pre-show because we were spending too much time trying to get all this other stuff set up. So let's just bring that up a little bit. Oh, I know what it is. We zoomed out. So let's zoom in a little bit. There we go. I feel better. I was feeling small. Has that ever happened to you? All right. So Ron says, Tom, what can happen by using G onboard video pushing 3 PTZs at 1080? Don't know what I mean. Don't know what you mean by G. Give me some more. The lab tech show says, I won't tell if you won't tell. It's the gumbo, my friend. In response to something I said, no doubt. That monitor is on NDI, correct. Well, this monitor was on vMix call. So it was actually going out and back. So there was a slight delay. The screen captures from the laptop were being transferred over Wi-Fi to this PC right here. That machine, that laptop, was neither streaming nor well, it was recording. In fact, we probably need to go turn the recorder off. Sit tight. Don't go anywhere. Coming back. I thought at first I wanted that laptop to be a touch screen because I know RJ's use touch screens, but my fingers are so big and some of those buttons are so small, it didn't have success written all over it. It had idiot written all over it. That's what I like about the X keys, is that it's tactical. It's tactile, excuse me, not tactical. It's tactile. Muscle memory is involved. You hit the buttons that your fingers are used to hitting, and it's not like a mouse where the mouse could be anywhere on the screen. Holy cow. Yeah, that's right. The Lab Tech Show. Oh, that's Corey. All right, good. Glad to have you. Very good. Ken is watching from North Carolina. Ken has ordered a Bird Dog X120. Good job, Ken. That tip to you. Clint can't hear me. Okay, we are just looking back through the chat because I wasn't here to see the chat earlier. Ron's here. Byron's here. Byron's telling me I don't have any sound. Tim says you should have set up vMix no sound alert. Tim, I should have just turned up the blasted volume. Logan says activators on X keys to flash whenever a source is muted or not on the master bus. Well, the source was neither muted, it was not muted, and it was on the master bus, and it was turned up all the way, and it was on, but I turned it down on the barrier at the source, at the audio interface. So there's just no accounting for idiocy. No accounting for idiocy. So there we go. Esom says mic is off. Thank you. Yep, you're right. The mic was off. And if you are a sports streamer, this is going to be a big deal. I did live streaming. In fact, I started out live streaming soccer at a local venue, and all the gear that I would haul out there, because I was experimenting. I was trying to figure out how to make all this stuff work together, and so we had a lot of gear, probably gear that we didn't need. But now we've kind of knocked it down. I mean, here we're talking about a laptop, a 4-port capture device for cameras, HDMI, but they have SDI available. Here was just 2 cameras, but we had room for 4. A small controller to be able to control the replay quickly and easily. If the reality is, a lot of us don't do this for a living. We don't do sports broadcasting, sports streaming for a living. We do it as a second gig, a part-time job, or just for the love of doing it. And so we may not always spend as much time on it as we might if it were our first in line profession. So that means the setup has got to be easy to use, easy to remember from week to week, and with a high chance of success, other than the audio in my case. What we saw in front of us was all we needed on the video end: cameras, recording, replay, streaming, and then to add the audio element to it for some commentators. Outside of sports, Corey, I can't see too many other uses for something like this. There might be, I don't know. I don't know of another profession where this would be valuable. Let's put it that way. I've teased that churches could use it use replay for baptisms, especially if your tradition has full immersion baptisms, and you have a baptismal pool present there in the sanctuary, to do an instant replay in slow motion from 4 different angles of the baptism. But I don't know that, that might be fun and funny, but that's may not be appropriate for somebody that's claiming eternal life. We won't go there. The setup that you just saw, the laptop, the 4-port HDMI capture device for Thunderbolt, and the X keys, and vMix, of course. I'm going to put that together in a bundle and put it in our store. And if you are interested in that, it'll be there to purchase. Or if you'd like to talk to me about a way to customize it, and do something else in addition to or instead of, we can certainly talk about that and make it work for you. That's the whole idea, is that it's got to work. It's got to work, because it's not cheap, and it's got to work. Yeah, well, let's close out the show and we'll go into the post show. We'll be right back. Well, okay. Byron, who is a longtime vMix user, it's just a nice way of saying he's old. Byron says he uses it for feedback sessions. Now, Byron is in the sales training business. He teaches people how to successfully sell. And as a result, they do a lot of role plays. They do a lot of you know, actual play it out like it is. And he uses it to go back in time, but it doesn't have to be a replay. It could be a recording. To just go back in time and say, this is what you said, and this is what I said, and this is what you said in response to what I said, and give people an opportunity to see themselves doing it. It's probably extremely painful. Extremely painful. Not for Byron, because he's getting paid for it, but yeah. Okay, Ron, it was asking about the onboard video. So if you have a laptop that doesn't have an NVIDIA capture card in it, well, let's see if we can transfer that laptop over to just the Intel graphics and see what difference it makes. All right, so let's go back over there. And we will go into settings, into performance, and see, we can't change it. Can't change it. Not changeable here. That's good, but if we show advanced settings, does that make any difference? Graphics adapter. Yeah, I don't have the ability here to I don't have the ability here, Ron, to change it. So I don't know. But my guess would be if I had lots more graphics, let's throw a couple titles in here. And maybe a stinger. So even those, even throwing in two graphics real quick doesn't really bump up the CPU or the GPU for that matter. I didn't mention it before. Okay, we're doing a replay. Let's do a 15-second clip and we'll play it. The render time here is 5 to 10 milliseconds. So the render time is really good. So yeah, we're in really good shape. I think this is a sweet little machine. It's due for a Windows update, and it's due for a vMix update. All right, so there we go. So Ron, I can't answer your question, but if there's a situation where you want to try something, make an appointment and come by the studio one day. Ron only lives a dozen miles away, and I'd be happy to help you test whatever you've got and see. Corey says, are you incorporating this device with the LiveView Solo? I'm not, but anybody could, for sure. All you would need to be is to have, a power source. I'm not sure if a laptop battery is going to hold out for an entire football game, for example. But one thing that would be really fun, and we can't do it today because it's not available today, but to have a PTZ camera like the new BirdDog X120 that's Wi-Fi and also comes with an optional battery mount so that you can mount a V battery on it, V mount battery. And yeah, then you're super portable. Of course, you'd have to set up a little access point, but that's no trouble. Yeah, there's some cool toys out there. There's some cool toys out there. This is good. This is good stuff. This good stuff. By the way, if you guys are interested in tech, you want to tune in to the Lab Tech Show. That's Tallboy's, Corey's show. Or if you're still around and want to post a link to it, that would be fine. He's talking tech at least once a week, and has had some interesting guests in the past. It's that younger generation, you know. They think a little differently than the rest of us. So yeah. What else we got here? It's all gumbo. It's all good stuff. Well, folks, I think we're going to wrap it up for today, unless you've got some questions. We will be back next week. We've got a couple of different series going on, as you may have noticed, or you may not have noticed. The current series, and this is going to bring up some music, and I can't prevent it. At least I can, but I'm not going to. Look in the bottom right-hand corner. That's our backpack gear section. I'll do that again now that you. Yep, the backpack gear. So we're going to continue to do backpack gear as we can put it together. Other items that you can throw in a backpack to enhance your remote gig. And then also our success in live streaming series. We've had Scott Whitney on. I was on, although I don't know that was necessarily a success in live streaming. And I'm trying to remember who our other show guest was. Oh, darn. I shouldn't have opened my mouth until I knew for sure, because now they're going to get mad at me. They're like, damn, Tom. One second. We're going to get it. We're going to get it. We're going to get it. William Warfield, of course. Yes. And we've got other folks that we are talking to and have talked to and just need to put on the schedule to come back and talk about how they got started in live streaming. You know, everybody started small. A lot of us started by accident. And the key was to keep at it. That was the key. That was the key. Don't give up. Keep going. If you found something you like, keep going. All right. Corey caters to an audience 40 plus. Well, 3 interviews so far. Scott Whitney, William Warfield, and me. So Scott comes from a music background and business, podcasting for business, making your business more successful using podcasts and video. William Warfield comes from sports. He started out in sports same time I did, and has just created this super well managed, well crafted, well coiffed sports broadcasting company. And then there's me. and it's been that 3 so far. But Corey, I want to get you on to talk about what you're going through in getting yours started, and the things that you're doing that are not working, and the things that you're doing that are working, and things that you're doing that you don't know if they're working or not. Sometimes that's the most important category. So yeah, there we go. Thank you very much, Bayview Support. Or can I call you BS for short? Sorry, I couldn't resist that. My oldest son and my youngest son both have BS as initials, and so there's sometimes when we need to remind them of that. All right, folks. Well, we're going to close out. We're going to catch you next week, and thanks for watching.